Hi, we're Martyr Defiled.
And this is the Endeavour Radio Punk Show.
Well, you're listening to the Endeavour Radio Punk Show with me, Thom White. I'm here at the scene in Lincoln with Martyr Defiled, with Ryan and Richard, and we're now going to talk about the video and the Demons in the Mist. This week has sort of been a very exciting one for you, really. It's February the 13th, and you put out the official video and single on the 11th. When you put this out, what message were you trying to really get across to fans with this song? What made it so special?
After, there's 11 tracks in the CD, 11 songs of new material, and after some, quite intense sort of deliberation and sort of discussion over it, this song really represented something we wanted to say first. Obviously, the CD's not out yet, so we wanted something that held its own, and I think Demons in the Mist represents the new sound in a lot of ways. It's really high energy. It incorporates a lot of elements and a lot of features of the new CD we put out there. We all thought it was a really strong song, and it was we're all real happy with that choice. So I think that's the main thing it represents to us, I suppose, as a band. It was it was a definitive sort of piece in the album in that sense. Some of the materials a bit definitely a bit heavier in places, and that, but Demons was just so strong, really high energy. Yeah, really all round sort of tune. So I think that's what it sort of represents to us. Yeah, it represents a progression in the point where the band is now. It's that's what it is to us.
You recorded this video with Zach Pinchin Media and Jordan Green Photo. So in what locations did you record the video, and why did you choose them in particularly?
The two locations we recorded it were it was in Nocton Hall. Then we moved on for the sort of night shots. Honestly, I don't know where it was. It was just some old RAF base.
Fiskerton Airfield.
It's Fiskerton Airfield. Because we wanted some night shots. Pretty much just to look cool. It's a really, stunning old building, and it just looked great as a backdrop to it. And the night shots, it's the way the cameras were set up, I suppose, were just somewhere dark, somewhere that looked pretty menacing and mean. And yeah, I think that's the significance of the locations. It just looked cool, man. And it was stunning building. It really is nice place.
Check out the video. The dark shots that you're on about is when towards the end of the video you've got the white masks on. So if anybody listening is wondering what that bit is, and that's the bit of the video. Certain shots of the video actually are linked to the album art, as I see in the video. And what message, apart from buy our album, is what are you trying to get across to viewers? With a heavily tattooed man, he's covered in mud and he's got a sack on his head as well. So what's this representing?
As far as aware, it was just the mask was to sort of represent the sort of ambiguity and sort of facelessness of people, and the sort of mud in his posture and his pose, just a lot distressed and intense, to represent some of the emotions that we tried to convey through some of the music. It wouldn't have been the same if it had been a guy stood in the field with some flowers. He sort of looked right. We discussed certain ideas of it, and that poor lad who was doing it, was your friend, isn't it, Richard? Massive favour towards the band and all. It was so cold. We were all wrapped up, and he's rolling around in mud, and just it come out really well. Absolutely, yeah.
It was freezing. That night, it was really, really cold that night. His name's Ollie Fabian. I played in a band with him about 8 years ago now. And he did us a real favour. He goes around the world playing poker and doing acting now. That's what he does. And he was luckily around at the right time, and he just sort of got straight into character for it. You can't see him. He's actually a stunning young man, but the potato sack took that away. But yeah, no, he was a real trooper with that. Did it a real good thing. And Jordan Green came to do the photography, and the reason they kind of interlinked is because we knew what we wanted for the album artwork, which was, a guy covered in mud, looking very distressed, as Ryan was saying, with the whole sack over his head. We took the shots during the day, and then at night, seeing as he was there, we just linked them in together. I don't honestly know. I couldn't tell you right now. Well, no, I can tell you now. It won't have any link into the next single video. There'll be no link into that. It was just the album artwork and that video just seemed to link together, and they were all done on the same day. So that's how it works.
So you announced before Christmas that you'd re-signed with Siege of Media, or Siege of Amida. Is that how you Siege of Amida Records? And then you explained that you needed to re-sign with them as they were bought out by Century Media Records. So did that mean you were sort of an unsigned band for a while? And could you explain what really happened to Martyr Defiled fans? Could you just clear this up?
We obviously our first EP was literally just done on a licensing job. We paid for the EP to be done. That was Ecophagy, and then T-Don put it out. Jamie Farrell from 30 Days a Night Records put it out, which was great. Off the back of that, we recorded the Plague Bearer single again on our own, because we were never officially signed to T-Don. It was just put out through them, which is nice. And off the back of the Plague Bearer single, Siege of Immediate, Jamie Graham and Siege of Immediate got in contact, and they took us on, and they obviously had all the biggest death metal bands in the UK at the time. They put out some great bands before, they're going to continue to put out some great bands. And we signed into a deal, and after we released Collusion, I wasn't in the band at that time when we released Collusion, and then I came back in, and we felt that the Collusion style was not where we wanted to go. It wasn't a mistake, but it was something that we didn't want to carry on going down that route with that style of music. And as opposed to just bringing out a full album and dropping that on everybody and it being different, we decided to do an EP, self-funded, again licensed through Siege of Immediate, so it was not actually part of the contract. We put that out there. That had more of a relevant sound to where we are now and where we were moving. And then we were going to be doing another full album, which would have been this one, but because they got bought out by Century Media, it just meant that every band that was on that roster had to re-sign, which is great for us because I think I'm really happy with the deal we got. It's a 4-album deal. I don't know if we'll last 4 albums. I hope we do. But yeah, so this is the first one of 4 potential ones through Siege Media and Century Media Records, and it's great to have great to be involved with them. You know, they're both really supportive, and it's really good to be a part of.
And Richard, you've also been fully endorsed by Simtech Cymbals as of late. That's in the latest big news, pretty much, for Martyr Defiled. So, you know, how did it happen? You know, how did it come about that you've all of a sudden got a sponsorship and an endorsement?
Obviously, where we've been touring more and more as the years have gone on, your first tours you really do are maybe sometimes even just 2 and 3 day tours, you know, not much longer than a weekend, just mini tours, and then obviously you get your 5-day, 7-day tours. All of a sudden you may be scraping up towards 10, 12 days. When you start doing like 4 or 5 week tours, your equipment gets knackered. You know, I'm bad enough with my technique as it is. I practically hit with hammers, and I can chew through a China cymbal. And you're spending so much money on them that we spoke to a guy. He approached us, a guy called Thom Fairbanks. He approached us about if we were looking for endorsements, which we were. We're in the market for them, and we spoke to him, and we actually managed to get the guitarists endorsed through Rotor Sound Strings, which is great. We're endorsed by Orange Cabs at the point that we want to go and buy any in PV, and with both our guitarists we've got PV heads, which is great. I managed to get a Vater endorsement for my sticks. Obviously they're not free, but they're at an artist rate, which is great for me because, you know, on a 5-week tour I need to buy 15 pairs. And then
have you got supplied for this tour by Simtech?
Yeah, Semtech. We spoke to them. They approached Dom, and Dom then came to us with it, which was great, and I was really happy. I was actually in the market for a couple of cymbals anyway. So when it happened, I'd never had a full setup of the same cymbals before. Don't get me wrong, I'd always bought good quality. I haven't bought rubbish cymbals. I'd always bought good quality cymbals, but they are expensive. And when Semtech approached me, we asked about a price listing because sometimes you don't always get the best price still, and they came up with a price. I had to say yes. So I spent a little bit of money getting a full setup, and I'm really happy with the setup now. The cymbals sound great. They're supportive. They've also given me worldwide support, so if I'm ever out in Europe, America, Australia, Asia, anywhere, and I need a cymbal, they'll have it to me within 3 days. So that's great. You know,
from what series are they from? Is it classic, modern, extreme, vented? What one is it? I
got the extreme ones again. I hit a bit hard to go classic or anything too gentle. I went for the extreme ones, and they sound great. They do. They're still B20 cymbals, so they're, you know, hand-hammered Turkish cymbals. They're great. I'm really happy with them. So let's just see how long they last.
I'm sure they went down a treat when you were recording your new album. Absolutely.